What is the most horrible thing you've ever said to another person? I was in the elevator at a hospital. I got in and saw an old guy friend from high school. I hadn't seen him in about 8 years or so. I said, "Hi, what are you doing here?" He motioned to his pregnant girlfriend next to him, and to this day, I have no idea why this came out of my mouth. Oh, is it yours? Why? Why would I say that? It was quiet for the rest of the elevator ride. All of my other HS friends laugh their butt off whenever I tell them this story. I have asked people that see him on a regular basis to please apologize to him for me. This will now be my go-to comments for any of my friends who get pregnant. One time in college, I was slightly intoxicated, maybe a little more than slightly, and as I began urinating on my roommate's backpack, I told him that he was a horrible human being and deserved this. Needless to say, I felt pretty bad the next morning when he informed me of what I had done. A very good friend of mine had a roommate our first year at university who made a habitual effort, at least it seemed like an effort, to vomit in my friend's laundry hamper. I hope your daughter doesn't turn out like you. When I was a kid, another parent said to my mom, "I feel bad she has you for a mom." His daughter is now around 300 pounds and works at a local Taco Bell. What does she have that I don't have besides an even number of chins? I once told a bully, "You're nothing, and you're never going to be anything." I felt bad because I really meant it and almost felt bad for her. Fast forward to these days and I've heard she became total trailer trash. Soothsayer. I grew up in a neighborhood full of kids. There was that one kid though, and because he was really overweight, everyone called him Fat Kid. Well, Fat Kid was really fat and we used to make fun of him every goddamn day of his life. Then one day he couldn't come outside, and he got really sick, and a few months went by and we didn't see him. Finally, Fat Kid came outside after months on hiatus. Except, Fat Kid wasn't fat anymore. What happened? Well, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and lost about 70 pounds in a summer. So Fat Kid lost his nickname that day and we started calling him by his real name. Except now we made fun of him because he had diabetes. Kids are so mean, and I still feel bad for being such an butthole when I was a kid. I bet your mom wished she had $400 17 years ago. Not me, but a friend. In high school, his wife's friend disappeared and was eventually found dead in the woods and had been violated. My friend was in the car with his wife and driving by those woods. She was peeing him off and he said, "Keep running your mouth and I'll leave you here with Jessica." Even he knew he crossed some line. He crossed the line where you never tell anyone you're a serial killer. I never liked your spinach puffs. I used to bring my GF Kit Kats. I thought it was our thing, then one day she said she never liked them. We are still together but things will never be the same. When I found out my BF cheated, I asked him if his mother would be proud of him for what he did. His mother died a few years back. I felt terrible after. When my GF cheated, I asked her how her brother would feel about it. He is autistic and looks up to her. And even worse, I was pretty much his only friend because he was homebound and obsessed with video games and philosophy like me. My mom raises chickens and she really loves them. One day a raccoon or something came by and got into the coop and pulled all their heads off. She texted me to let me know. My response? Cluck cluck, they're out of luck. That's not mean though, that's hilarious. Freshman year of high school, there was this jock that used to bully the heck out of me. He was such an idiot, but he always made my life a nightmare. He also happened to be dyslexic and had to go to special classes for it. I remembered him being really sensitive about that. Well, one day he and his sidekick were really tearing into me in English. Finally I snapped and said, "Oh, I'm stupid. At least I don't have to go to fricking retard classes every day." The dude looked like he was going to cry. He never said a word to me after that. That's not bad at all, and he was asking for it. Glass house and all. Your grandmother died because she hated you. Frick dude, dang. Here's something I feel horrible about to this day. My mum is lovely and wonderful and amazing and the best mum ever, but I went through a fairly long phase where I didn't quite appreciate that. She used to sing a lot around the house, and she doesn't really sing very well. So I told her that maybe she just shouldn't, and she stopped completely. That was like 10 years ago and I haven't heard her sing since. I stopped being horrible to my parents quite a few years ago and I really appreciate them now and love them and am grateful for everything they have done and keep doing for me. I only realized the impact of this thing fairly recently though. To be honest, I appreciate all the comments and suggestions, but my mum and karaoke is absolutely not going to happen, ever. But we were talking the other day, and she said something that made me really happy equals. We have those old booklets with sheet music for old folk songs and pop songs, and we used to take them everywhere and sing from them. And she told me that she found them the other day and tried to sing a few songs, but couldn't really remember how they went. So she said she'd bring them when my parents come for my graduation. That'll be my chance to fix things and get her to sing with my dad and me equals. That broke my heart. No, I am not going to fight for you to stay. Either that was a relationship ending, or you are one very slick border control agent. One time somebody ruined the punchline to my joke, to which I said you should have been an abortion, you freaking see. That seems like a normal chat between me and my friends. A dude in my class said to another girl, I hope your kids get cancer. She was talking about being gay and the dude was a homophobe. He said something along the lines of being gay is wrong. She turned and said, I hope your son becomes gay, and he replied with that. I hope your child is gay is such a weird response to homophobes, though. It's intentionally antagonizing. If they don't change their mind, it's the kid who will suffer for it. I'd rather say I hope you grow to know and respect someone who is gay so you can see the error of your views. I had a dopehead uncle. He would go around making his family feel guilty sad about him, hoping to get money out of them. He came into the convenience store I used to work with a hoodie. After I told him I cannot give him any cash, he took the string out of the hood and asked me if I thought that someone can hang themselves with it. I said, I don't know, and he won't either unless he tried. After that he went to the back storeroom. 15 minutes later leave without saying anything. Was feeling bad until I realized that he stole some stuff from the storeroom. That's why your mom is in a freaking wheelchair. In the 3rd grade, a girl sitting next to me was really sad that her cat had been run over and killed by a semi-truck. I thought it was clever to say to her, cats have 9 lives, but semi-trucks have 18 wheels. It was clever, just also tactless. When I was in the 4th grade, I had this best friend named Jason. His mother raised him alone because his dad was a M addict and died of a heart attack. Anyways, Jason always felt the need to one-up me or bash me in conversations when other people were around. To look cute, I guess. One day I got tired of his crap and just yelled, well, at least I have both parents. God, the look on his little 4th grade face still haunts me. I said nearly the same thing probably around the same time to a kid whose dad was gone. I don't know if he left or died, but I have never forgotten saying it. I feel awful just thinking about it. In school, a friend was mocking a bi-curious girl in the class and called her too ugly to be wanted by anyone, and that's why she pretends to be bi because it's only her mum and dad that frick her. Her response? At least I get more P than you. Damn, that girl is harsh. Was arguing with someone and when he sneezed he said excuse me, to which I responded, the only excuse for you is a cheap H in a crappy motel room. He was raised by a single mom his whole life. You must really freaking hate sneezing. Knock knock, who's there? Not to your dad since he's dead. Poor Batman. I once broke up with a girl because I found out she was cheating on me. Later on, she started trying to cozy up to me again. I told her I wasn't interested. She started crying and begged me to tell her what she could do to make it up to me. I told her, you can stay out of my life, never speak to me again, and live your life without manipulating, using and hurting people anymore. If you don't change, you will die alone and miserable. That sounds like good advice actually. Not me, but said to me. I tried to kill myself, and when my sister found me, she was so pissed off she told me, I would rather have found you dead. Also overheard my mother tell a friend, if God told me I was pregnant with a gay baby, I would tell him to get rid of it. I don't think I could ever love him. Thanks, Mom. Those really taught me something, though. Be careful about what you say to other people. They might not be there later, and you might not be able to ask for forgiveness. You sound like you're surrounded by sea. I wish you died in the Virginia Tech massacre. Immediately regretted the decision to say that to my friend who was a VT alum, even though it was in drunken jest. The look on his face immediately after was a look of sullen disbelief. Dude. Your parents call you special because you are a failed abortion. Frick. I'll take your mother, Dorothy Mantooth, out for a nice seafood dinner and never call her again. Dorothy Mantooth is ASN. I told my child's father that he was just a sperm donor and that I could find my son a real dad. This was after he abandoned me during my pregnancy. None of his family or friends knew about me or the pregnancy, and lied to me about not having a girlfriend. Then showed up the day he was born and wanted to invite his mother and friend into my hospital room to meet me and my son. Good times. Two sides to every story, but I'm sure he had it coming. Back in school, some guy made fun of this chick for being on her period and bleeding through. I told him that we as guys would never know a level of embarrassment like that and that I hoped he got kidney stones and crap himself so hard that he cried for his mom for making fun of her. Yeah, he deserved it. That's a crappy thing to make fun of. I never loved you. To my ex, she deserved it, but I still feel bad for saying it. When I was a kid, my grandfather used to call me girls' names, especially Susie because he thought I was a Nancy boy. I used to call him Sally in retaliation. Later in life he developed diabetes and had to have his leg amputated. After waking up from surgery, I convinced my mother to pass me the phone and I said to him, "Hey Jim, I came up with a new name for you. Eileen." He laughed. My mother laughed. My stepfather laughed. It was his father. My grandfather died a few weeks later due to complications with his diabetes. I still laugh. I'll be laughing when your mom dies from cancer, knowing that you're finally going to be alone in this world ever since your dad abandoned you. Oh god, I feel terrible even just typing this out. I really hope you apologize to this person. If you haven't, it's never too late. You're an inanimate freaking object. That movie had one of the best insults in movie history. Harry, let's face it, and I'm not being funny, I mean no disrespect, but you're C. You're C now, and you've always been a C, and the only thing that's going to change is that you're going to be an even bigger C. Maybe have some more C kids. Get the frick out of here and take your tiny dong with you. I'm going to peel your dong like a banana. I'm really not proud of this one, but since you asked, your arms are like a leopard. I was drunk and talking to a man who had psoriasis, which is a genetic skin condition. For some reason I thought it would make him feel cool, but I just made an butt of myself. He didn't say anything else and left to put a sweatshirt on. I'm so sorry, sir. You are a C. I don't like you. I don't respect you and I don't trust you. PLS, don't contact me again. That PLS cuts deep. In high school we were at baseball practice. I don't remember how it came about, but I jokingly told someone that he is ugly and his mother dresses him funny. His mom was dead. I didn't know. I felt and still do really bad about that. My stepfather died from heart failure. At the funeral home the mortician was asking my mother if he had a pacemaker. My mother was confused, so I explained that pacemakers explode in a crematorium and answered the mortician that he did not have a pacemaker. Then I said, but as long as you're worried about fire hazards he's about 150 proof. My stepfather was a lifetime alcoholic and there was a pregnant pause of mortified looks from all present, including unironically the mortician himself. Then there was laughter from my mother, uncle, half-brother, the mortician and myself. I never pull any punches. This wasn't said by me, but it was said to one of my friends. G. Your dad sucks dong. D. My dad died when I was young. He was serving in the US military. G. Then I bet he sucks dong in heck. Some dickhead was trying to get into my castle, so I said his mother was a hamster and his father smelled of elderberries. You're not being the kind of person Mr. Rogers wants you to be. You take that back. I am an atheist, but not the kind that goes around trying to deconvert people. My mom was going through a phase a while ago So she tried to convert me by explaining how much better it makes her feel to know that her parents and her husband are in a better place. I was in my 30s at the time and my mom and I always had long philosophical conversations. So instead of being confrontational about it, I just started to debate with her, just like we do when we are talking about aliens or the meaning of life. Inexorably I ended up making her contemplate the possibility, or in my case the likelihood, that there is no God and therefore no afterlife. Therefore her loved ones were just rotting carcasses in the ground. She started crying and got into a really desperate place. I felt like I had murdered the innocence of a child. Still, I could not bring myself to be compassionate and help her back to her comfortable beliefs. All I could do was go silent and hug her. I dislike myself for what I did that day. All I can say is you must have made a heck of a good argument to make her question her beliefs. Santa Claus isn't real. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.